It is another perfect, wonderful hump day at the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery. Yay, yay, yay for Wednesdays. Even though I have gotten so far out of the 5-day-a-week thing, 5 days on, 2 days off. My life is so different from that experience now. I sometimes lose sight of what day it is, but I still like doing the hump day happy chat on traditional hump day. So good morning, where I am in the Pacific time zone of the USA, and afternoon, evening, and quite possibly middle of the night, where some of you also may be. I'm Dr. Valerie Renee Shepard, founder and CEO of the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery, where we define self-mastery as mastering yourself, this magnificent instrument that you are, mastering yourself in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. Yay! And if you're like me, your life brings your way lots of different things in a single 24-hour period, all different kinds of things. And being able, like having the capacity, the agency, the mindset, the heart set, the ability, the eyes to see, the ears to hear, and the heart to receive what your life is creating in order to serve you to go to a higher level of your own potentiality. Like, that's what self-mastery is all about. You being able to shepherd yourself into your dreamscape, into your undeniable purpose, into your exquisiteness, expanding, unfolding, and being expressed in your life as you. Knowing that that's who you are. That's who you've always been. No matter what's in your past, no matter what you may think you're here for today, knowing that that's the truth of who you are. Your whole, total self, even though you're in the density of the third dimension called Earth, bringing your not of this world abilities, wisdom, faith, agency, power, sight, into this experience in the here and now. That's what we're all about. So thank you so much for joining. The whole idea of the Hump Day Happy Chat is to give you little pearls of possibility that you can take into your life, apply them, and then see what happens. There is no silver bullet. There is no one size fits all. It's all about you having enough love for yourself to want to apply a new way of being you in your life so that you can see the new way that your results show up. If you ever want to know what's going on with me, like how am I doing in my life, I just look at my results. And if the results aren't what I want them to be, then I look at how they could be telling me something really valuable and important about me. That's the whole idea here. Like, we are often conditioned to think we came here to do a whole bunch of things we didn't really come here to do. We didn't really come here to amass a bunch of wealth. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Have at it. It's fun. I love it. We didn't come here really to play this game of enterprise. She with the most toys wins. Meh. It's a fun pursuit. We didn't even come here to win medals or to birth children and raise them to be somebody's. That's not really what we're here for. We're really here in this academy, this master academy, to master ourselves, to remember the truth of what we are, who we are, why we came here, where we came from, whose we are. And to get about experiencing everything that the third dimension has to offer, remembering the truth and accessing that truthful energy as a part of how we go about doing life in this realm. Like being fluid, being in flow as opposed to rigid and stuck. This is how I know I do it. That's what we're here for. So today's question on the Hump Day Happy Chat, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I love questions. I love comments. I would love some feedback from y'all out there and wherever we are land, Facebook. And I have lots of resources to help you. I'll put a couple of them in the chat. I take people on international retreats, and my next one is coming up at the end of May 29th to June 4th. It's called the Glow Up Experience. So you can look in the comments and I'll put in the link and everything. It's looking really exciting and exquisite. So today's question, I love to explore what people send to me as, hey, I'm dealing with this, or what I am dealing with, and the questions that come up for me as I'm dealing with those things, as I'm looking at, how is this unfolding for me? Or perhaps a student that I've been working with, who I've been working with, or a client might ask some questions. So here we are at the Hump Day Happy Chat. Tongue-tied a little bit. Got myself all verklempt. The Hump Day Happy Chat number 211. Yabba dabba do for that. And our question is, set your alarm, or the exclamation is, set your alarm to something sweet and soothing. Set your alarm to something sweet and soothing. So, first question, what does it take to get you to wake up? Wake up. Are you one of those people who has a louder than loud alarm that jolts you out of sleep? Like, I hate that. Oh my gosh. Didn't always. But bam, wake up. Do you set 3 around the room so that they go off at different times, or that you have to actually get out of bed to go turn it off? And that's what gets you up. It forces you to get in the upright state. And that gets you going. Or are you one of those people who likes that snooze button? You set the alarm maybe 45 minutes even before you really need to be up, to give yourself ample opportunities to hit that snooze once, twice, maybe 3 times. And you maybe awaken a little bit more each time and go back to sleep. Whoa, jolt you awake. So what's your MO for waking yourself up? So I'm the set your alarm to something sweet and soothing type. I like to be lightly blown out of my sleep. I like to come to awakeness in a gradual and flowing way. I do not appreciate being smacked awake. I don't. I never have, even though I've used that version to awaken myself on many occasions. Can you tell that I'm not necessarily talking about waking up in the morning? So think about this. The first step of my 4-step Living Happy to Be Me process is wake up to the truth of who you are. It's in my book, Living Happy to Be Me, Dancing Your Soul Light Style. Dancing Your Soul Light Style. So waking up is an essential part of living the high vibration life, of living happy to be me, is awakening yourself to yourself, noticing you in your life so that you can come into a greater harmony in your life, with your life, so that you can come into a greater wholeness as you living that life, as you contributing of yourself, from yourself, to yourself and the world. The wake up, in our vernacular in the West, I don't know about in the East, but we talk about the wake up call. What was your wake up call? So I want to put that on pause for a minute, and I want to talk about something else, and then I'll draw the two together. So I want to talk about the fight or flight response. Fight or flight response. You probably heard about it. It's pretty ubiquitous. It's an autonomic, like an automatic physiological reaction to an event that is perceived as stressful, frightening, deadly, in some way is going to bring harm to you. It triggers in our limbic brain system the part of us that is to keep us safe and alive. It's a protective mechanism. The perception of threat activates the sympathetic nervous system and triggers a very acute response. Acute meaning, bam, it happens really fast. It doesn't necessarily play out over time. It happens really fast. And it prepares the body for what's going to come next, which could be fighting or it could be running away. There's a whole lot more to this than what I'm telling you, but we are not here about the fight or flight syndrome. Interestingly enough, the person who is considered the founder of the concept of stress theory, Hans Selye, who lived from 1907 to 1982, early 80s. He's known as the father of stress research, the founder of stress theory. And he talked about the relationship of stress and disease. Dis-ease. So if we say that as two different words, dis-ease. I'm out of ease. I'm out of flow. Non-flow. Dis-ease. Out of wholeness. Dis-ease. Disease. The relationship between stress and disease wasn't always thought of. Hans Selye was the one who made this more of a foundational principle in the whole medical lexicon. The concept of how stress, a word that was taken from physics, which was looking at the interaction between force and resistance, the stress that happens when the two are playing on each other. It's from physics. Selye is the one who brought it into the medical lexicon to describe a non-specific response of the body to some sort of demand. Force, response. Force, resistance. Stress. So Selye identified 3 stages of this response: alarm, resistance, and my all-time favorite, exhaustion. Exhaustion. And when you take a look at these 3 responses, what does it take you to wake up? You might be able to see some dynamics in your life that need to shift in order for you to move into a higher vibration, connected in with more flow and more wholeness and more truth of what you are. So when we bring these things together, alarm with this idea of stress and what stress can do to the body, dis-ease, a force meeting some kind of resistance. This is what we're talking about in today's Hump Day Happy Chat. So a couple of questions to consider. A, have you chosen to wake up in your life? To wake up to you? Your life is not about noticing all the things that are wrong out there. That's a part of it. And certainly with a fully healed and instrumental you, what you have to contribute goes further, faster, higher, and deeper. And it starts with you getting right with you. Right in quotation marks, meaning aligned, meaning harmonized. Harmonized, 100% spiritual, 100% human, harmonized. Divine feminine, divine masculine, both in their healed state, harmonizing. Not necessarily balanced, but harmonizing. That's the dance, dancing your light style. Bringing the energetic you, the not of this world you, the fifth dimension you, into the third dimension, to dance in the density of the third with the lightness of being of the fifth dimension and higher dimensions. So the question about setting your alarm, or the invitation to set your alarm to something sweet and soothing, how does that happen? Is it possible that you've got an alarm system that's been cultivated throughout the twists and turns of your life, the ups and downs, the I love this, I hate that, like into those parts of your life where everything is a 5-alarm fire? Now, in the jargon of the fire brigade, 5-alarm is often, not always, but often, it depends on the fire department. 5-alarm fires are often the most dangerous. It's the highest level of fire. They're typically fires that can use hundreds of firefighters in order to put them out. So think about that. In my life, is everything a 5-alarm fire? Like, is everything I'm doing, I'm on alert? I'm on alert status all the time? I'm in a fight or flight energy all the time? Remember the 3 stages. The alarm goes off, there's resistance, and then there's exhaustion. How many of you can say that you're tired all the time? What if that's simply a setting that you've gotten yourself used to that you have to change? It doesn't change on its own. You know, your alarm doesn't get set on its own. You've got to activate it, decide what time you need to wake up, and set it. And it doesn't turn off on its own either. You've got to actually have the agency to do something about it in order to get what it is trying to give to you. So think about this, the parallel in your life with how you're being who you believe you are and how your life is unfolding and how you're contributing to that unfoldment. Is everything a 5-alarm fire? Or are you just treating it that way? Think about that. So I'm aware that in my life, I had a very 5-alarm-ish way of doing life. Everything had so much urgency and also heaviness to it. And I had that to me. My staffs would say to me, the people who worked, who reported to me, would say, your energy, they wouldn't say it in these terms, but retrospectively, as I look back on it, I now know what they were telling me was my energy was heavy, agitated, They used to say you feel like you're angry all the time. And now, with the beauty of hindsight and the wisdom and the body of work that I've been doing for the last 20 years, I can look back and go, yeah, I was a 5 alarmer. I was always pushing, pushing, pushing. I always wanted way more than I got. I was always striving. I created struggle. When you have a predisposition to be victorious over some adversary, you're setting yourself up to have lots of adversaries, to give yourself the opportunity to get whatever you get from being victorious. It's law of reflection, law of reciprocity, hermetic principle, law of karma. So we can set ourselves up. This is why self-mastery is the centerpiece of what I do. Because I was asleep at the wheel of my life. I talk about that in my book. And the alarms that woke me up were dis-ease in the physical body, dis-ease in interpersonal relationships, dis-ease in my relationship with myself. And the alarms were going off, and I was hitting the snooze button. There's nothing wrong with the snooze button. Please don't hear that. It's not what I'm saying. The question, though, becomes, how long are we going to ignore the alarm? How long are we going to ignore the call that the alarm represents? The idea of the alarm being a metaphor in your life for how your life is talking to you, is communicating with you, is calling you. Come hither, young, beautiful thing. Come hither. How your heart wants to be your lead, and your intellect, that powerful supercomputer in your head, is being called into support. When you approach everything in your life as though it's a 5-alarm fire, you're keeping yourself, you're holding yourself in the energy, in the vibration of fight or flight all the time, which does yucky and harmful things to your body, mind, and emotions. It's living in self-created stress and the resulting anxiety and overwhelm. I have a book coming out about this in a little bit. The big SAO, stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. How we keep ourselves there by being in this on alert status all the time. And that comes from our perceptions. It comes from our history. It comes from our wounds and our societal conditioning. When you need to be startled awake, slapped around, 2x4 in the face, startled out of being asleep at the wheel of your life, you're not noticing that your life is talking to you until the poop hits the fan. Poopy days. When you have poopy pants. No, thank you, please. So, what can you do about this? So definitely explore what your reaction is. Powerful word, reaction to the things around you. If you find yourself ranting and ranting about things that are out of your control, if you find yourself beating yourself up for the least little error, mistake, failing, if you find yourself judging, looking for things to be a problem, like listen to yourself. So here are some things. If you want to get in the space of, my alarms are set to sweet and soothing. You got to choose it. Just like if you set your alarm on your clock, on your watch, on your phone, you choose it. So in your life, setting your inner alarm to something sweet and soothing is about being in neutral more often as your engaged posture. Allowing yourself to breathe deeply. Maybe even set your inner alarm to take a 2-minute pause every hour on the hour. To teach yourself what neutrality might feel like. Do more deep breathing, evacuating the old stale carbon monoxide out of your lungs. Just like part of self-mastery is evacuating your old stale habits and practices, sacred cow beliefs, old resentments and judgments. We talked about this last happy chat, shaking it up, what is really true and supporting you versus what's fiction, what's perception that's distorted, what's no longer serving you to reach your highest potential. So how do you notice what you notice about you being who you think is you? Who are you being when you think you're being you? One of my seminal questions. So in the breathing state of coming into harmony inside, let go of your rushes to judgment. Eckhart Tolle teaches a beautiful question. Is that so? 3 words that can open up amazing possibilities and slow your roll enough that your alarm isn't needed to be at 5 alarm status. Watch your rushes to judgment. Good, bad, right, wrong. They shouldn't have. They should have. Watch your rushes to judgment. That's an alarm that's going off when it maybe doesn't need to. Maybe adopt the behaviors of the tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. Are you rushing through everything, trying to get to the end point? That's what I did for a long time. And I would get to the end point and realize I got here, and I wonder if I could have gotten here without so much stress and strain. Sometimes my staff members would say to me, I learned more than I learned with anyone else when I was reporting to you. You got me promoted faster. And I just wish it could have been more fun along the way. That was a real poignant reminder to me of the journey matters. Enjoying the journey matters as a part of experiencing the destination. Maybe instead of racing to get to an answer and get on with the next question, maybe you could dance with the questions a lot more. Allow them to bubble up inside you and get into the crevices and allow you to see the innovation that's calling to you. It's in the question, not in the racing to the answer. It's playing with the question. It's actually drilling down deep into the question to even know you've got the right question for whatever the situation is that you're wanting to impact. And then we do some more breathing. Oxygenate the blood, oxygenate the brain. Breathe. And ultimately set yourself to being sweet to and soothing for yourself. Even when 5 alarmers are trying to get your attention. Even then, when the 5 alarm is going off, when you have learned to set your inner constitutional self to set a point, to be the set point on sweet and soothing, even in the midst of a 5 alarmer. Your life will transform because you have. Because you've taken the edge off of things. You've allowed yourself to get back into harmony with yourself, back into wholeness, back into flow. Stress in physics and in the human system, it's all about force and resistance. Coming out of that is about fluidity and flow. And the first step is to wake up. Notice you being you and look for the opportunities to shift. Yay. That's it for today's Hump Day Happy Chat. Set your alarm to something sweet and soothing. By the way, mine is to bells, little church bells, but I've also awakened to birds in nature, and both are equally delicious. So thank you so much for being here. Please, if it moves you to support and serve others to go to higher vibrations so we have more on the planet, one contribution that you could make today would be to share this video. And this is my sacred invitation to join me in France at my next retreat, the Glow Up Experience. And you'll find more about it in the comments. Many blessings. I've been closing the Hump Day Happy Chat with the Karanaya Metta Sutra, a prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha. May all beings be peaceful. Remember that all beings includes you and me. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature, and may all beings be free. Many blessings. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye now.